Well, hello. How is everybody doing? It's not Monday. That's a good thing for me. Although it's been a little rough, and today is hump day. And we're going to do some Marilyn Manson. There's been quite a bit going on the case, and I couldn't wait till next Monday to tell you because there's also a lot going on with a lot of other cases, and it's just had to throw in an extra one there. I just wanted to actually get this to you as soon as I could. As soon as there's going to be some stuff going on about it, and it's funny. I'm going to show you how one thing in a case can affect all the other cases because it's Manson, Brian Warner. We know there's multiple cases. There are 3 civil cases against him, and there's 1 civil case that he has filed against Evan Rachel Woods and Illma Gore. Okay, so on the Marilyn Manson issue, the first thing that I'd like to go over with you is the rescheduling in the case he filed against Evan Rachel Woods in Illma Gore. Last time we spoke, they had put everything for September 13th. You know that there was an ex parte for the moving of it based on he wanted some early, he wants to get into discovery. He, being Brian Warner, wants to get into discovery, looking at the fact that he doesn't have anything as far as the evidence or going into what they have, and they've already filed these anti-SLAPP motions that are also on the table to be heard. They were on the table to be heard in September. They were originally for August, and they got pushed a little bit back. Well, they've petitioned again based on some other things that are happening, and based on things that say to now it is both are going to be on September 27th. Okay, the judge has ordered that it's okay. Everything's going to go forward. There's no reason not to allow Brian to do them both on the same, put his wish for discovery to also be done on the same day. They are going to do the anti-SLAPP for both. Now, Evan Rachel Woods filed one, and so did Illma Gore, because they're both named in the suit. They're both claiming anti-SLAPP for whatever reasons based on their participation in Phoenix Rising and the defamation and yada, yada, yada. As you know, they're trying to use anti-SLAPP. They're trying to say that whatever they said about Manson, they don't have to prove it because it's for the greater good. Okay, it's not defamation. It doesn't matter because he's famous and they're famous and they should be able to speak on it because it's for the greater good. It's like a PSA apparently out there, their video that they made with all those accusations. Okay. I don't know, based on the information that's already come out in the filings that were done that we covered last time, about a month ago, Brian came forward against what they were accusing him of and had some really damning evidence, especially on 3 specific, or at least 2 specific points that I think hit really, really hard. And that was, they've said all along that something may have happened to the actual actress or groupie or whoever they used for the groupie slang type video that they did, that person could have been hurt or assaulted. Things happened to them against their will. They were underage. All of these kind of accusations. And what came forward in those depositions from the actress herself, Paulo, said, I was of legal age. I was 21 or 22 when it happened. I knew everything that was going to happen because I went through everything with Marilyn at the time. We discussed it like professionals do. Okay. And nothing happened to me. I'm alive. I'm right here. And by the way, I have never spoken to Evan Rachel Woods or Illma Gore about any of these. So who are they to speak for me? It was brilliant. And of course that, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what it said. I'm paraphrasing the attitude, but I'm sure she felt it when she read what they said about her and she knew it wasn't true. I think I would have been a little lit under the collar myself. All right. Well, based on that, that went down in flames. Also, when they found out that the letter that was supported this in saying there was an investigation and Evan Rachel Woods needed to be away from the area because of an investigation into Brian Warner for some not so good things. The letter was served in a custody battle between herself and her husband's father. and she served a looks like false document claiming the name of an agent who claims, no, not I, not me, didn't do it. Mm-mm. It's because it's already public record in another court case. It was allowed to be admitted into this court case freely. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Um, those were the two things. There was many more, as we covered. Please go back to the playlist. You'll find them there. There was many more that he filed in those depositions. He also brought on King. Mr. King is doing right by Brian Warren, as far as I can see here. Brian Warner's attorney is doing a bang up job. He's pushing back just hard enough. He's making waves. He's not letting anything go by. He's making dates. He's addressing things. He's keeping in track of all of these cases that are going on. He's part of the other case with Bianco. And he's addressing the lawyer for Ashley Smithline Klein, too. So he is definitely keeping it all smooth together. So that is the update based on the case that Brian Warner has filed against Evan Rachel Woods and Illma Gore. Dates are now going to be at the end of September for the actual slap, the slap motions to be heard of both Woods and Gore, and also the ex parte, the other motion for Brian Warner, who is asking for depositions to start, for disclosure to start, so that he can actually start getting evidence to defend himself, that things are taking a little too long and he shouldn't be held in prejudice about that. He should be allowed to start and not have to wait for their, all of these extra motions that they are filing, So on that, any questions on that part? And believe me, that's just Warner versus Woods and Gore. We're now going to move over to the second motion. Listen, Mr. King's been a very busy man. Mr. King is not the only attorney that's been a very, very busy man. Because the attorney for Ashley Smithline, this is the other case. Okay, this is one of the accusers in the civil lawsuits against Brian Warner, making the accusations that they did of assault, and this one actually claimed unfair work practices, unfair safe environment, some violations of bringing them in under the immigration, guidelines for work that never happened. This is also Ashley Smithline is also the one that Brian Warner says that he only was with her for a very short period of time. Thank you for the super sticker there, the lovely little mic drop of a pair. I like the mic drop. Thank you, Spooky Spoon. And thank you for being here and for your support. Thank you. It's nice to see some of the others coming in. Hey, Never Darling, it's nice to see you. Allison Wrongfield, Jack, it's nice to see you guys. Janae Foster, it's nice to see you too. If I've missed anybody, I'm sorry. I'm just focusing on a little bit of the reading today. As you can hear, I'm a little off. My voice is a little off. I think I'm coming down with something. And I definitely have some tech issues going on that have made me a bit stressed. But we're going to go with it. Hopefully, if you see any pixelation in the chat, would you let me know? I do not see it here through StreamYard. So if you can't see what I'm reading or what I'm going over, I know you can't read it. But if it becomes like all crazy, I want to take it off the screen for you so it's not like awful. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put you all on one of those trippy adventures. They can be fun, but that's not what we're going to do here during our Manson stuff, okay? All right. So basically, there's another attorney. Okay, the attorney for Ashley Lindsay Morgan is asking to be relieved of duty in regards to her case. Okay. Yep. I said, yep. He wants to bow out. Okay. And his reasoning is that Ashley is not giving him the information that he needs. Ashley is not actually, this is the attorney, Jay Elwanger. Okay. He is putting forward all this information that he has tried very hard. He was retained way back in June 29 of 2021. He has tried to get Ashley Morgan Smithline to her depositions. They have scheduled many depositions in both the Esme Bianco case, because remember, there is a link here. They both are claiming violations of the immigration process, that Brian apparently seduced them over with all of this promises of work and this, and you're going to do that, and then said, well, you didn't pay me, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, it never happened, yada yada. It's like a twofold. Ashley Smithline Morgan took it farther, not only with the immigration process, because she also was not in the country. She also said that when she was in the country, that there was the acts, the Hacked Act, that says that you have to have a fair employment opportunity, pay fair, get breaks, all this, have a safe work environment. She's using all that about it. That's a very strong law there in California. She's using that on them too. So the cases are similar. They have the same judge. They're so similar in what they're claiming as far as the abuse, the unfair labor practices, the bringing them over illegally, kind of messing around with the immigration process and so on. They are so similar. They have the same judge. The judge, the court system there in California said, hey, it would probably be prudent to put these two together with the same judge, so that we get all the same information. It goes from both case to case. It would save some time, and it would save some money in the judicial process. And I kind of agree with that, because then you don't have to hear it twice. You don't have to go over it numerous times. Oh, and I'm sorry I left you in the middle of a page here, but anyway, lawyer Ellwanger wants out of here because, as he says, he does not feel that Ashley will be prejudiced by his withdrawal, because she's not actually doing anything actively right now to participate in the case as she should. She has been served requests for admission, in August several times for for her to actually sit for depositions in the her own case and also in the Bianco case, and she has not responded. Okay. He definitely feels that he cannot state the reason. Okay. He's listing a case that also brings up that good cause was satisfied where the client had consented to withdraw, holding that the failure or the inability to pay legal fees in proper ground was okay for withdrawing his counsel. Okay, because it hadn't reached a critical point. Now, you never want a lawyer to run away just because you're not making your payments on time, if you're already in the thralls of a heavy legal situation. But since this is still the beginning, and she hasn't even sat for the depositions, and she's still not putting forth the information they have, I can tell you there are not a lot of filings in this case. It's been going on for quite a while, since 21, and there's not a lot there for me to pull for you guys to actually say. There's nothing back and forth going on. So he's right in that case, that he should be allowed to walk away, but it's going to be up to the judge, okay, whether he can withdraw, because it is right in the active. Okay. He also feels that he is not getting the information needed to do his job. He's not able to actually perform and meet deadlines in the court, okay, which is a big thing. If he's not able to meet the deadlines because of actions of Ashley, okay, then of course the judge may just let him walk, because if she's not being a cooperative, he uses the term and not cooperating with with him in regards to the defense, he can't do his job. He should be released, because it is going to be affected on him and his reputation afterwards. Okay. It does have to do a bit about the retainer. It does also have to do with, they make mention, okay, they do make mention that also there has been requests for therapy records in regards to the timeline delay. Now, this is in California, where they extended the statute of limitations based on victims who felt they needed more time, based on their not dealing with the situation, based on repressed memories, based on PTSD, based on all types of situations when you go through a trauma that can affect your ability to number one, deal with that trauma. Number two, actually understand what happened, recall what happened, be able to formulate it in a way that you could actually come forward in a responsible way, giving your testimony. Okay, she's not provided the records, repeatedly asked. Again, not able to do his job because Ashley is not cooperating. It seems to be the gist here. I know I'm not putting it in legal words. I'm putting it in layman words like I do for you guys so that we just understand. This is basically what he is actually saying with this one. He definitely just feels. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if you heard the last thing I said because the potato decided I was done. But anyway, Ashley Smithline is not cooperating with her attorney. I am putting that in just basic terms there. Uh, Not using the legal words, but she's not provided any of the therapy records that have been requested or the ongoing notes that qualify for what she's going for, the statute of limitations to make it a valid case, etc. Now, the judge did let this go through based on those facts that they were going to request everything, or things aren't coming through. If he feels he can't do his job, number one, because she's not following through with appointments to depositions, scheduling of depositions, cooperating with the other attorneys for, he's trying to make dates with other attorneys for the other cases that she's also, going to be giving testimony in. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for her. It makes her look very unreliable at this time. I'm wondering what the judge is going to do as far as how, if he's going to allow it to proceed, if he's going to allow him to walk away, or if he's just going to, at this point, Brian Werner, they may be even, if she's not cooperating, maybe they could actually even go forward and actually draw up a draft with motion to dismiss. If they're not going to be coming forward, if they're going to be delaying on the time unnecessarily, who knows? But there's more, there's more, there's more. Okay. We'll try this one more time. Well, I say one more time, but I'm lying because there's more, there's more. Okay. So actually, they also have to not only put the motion to ask the court, they actually have to justify it with the declaration, supporting why, they need to be dismissed. He states that I am the counsel for Ashley Lindsay Morgan, he being the attorney. Okay. J. Wangler. Okay. Al Wangler. Okay. This is in regards to Esme Bianco's case, not even Ashley's own case. Okay. Trying to squash the subpoena for Ashley based on the fact that he's walking away. They're going to have to reissue the subpoena to get her to do the deposition and everything all over again because he's letting them know that he wants to leave. He wants to modify that subpoena. So basically, besides saying how old he is and that he's an attorney, all right, he's saying that he's the counsel for Ashley Lindsay Morgan Smithline, and I submit this declaration in support of third-party witness Ashley Lindsay Morgan notice of motion and opposed motion to modify the subpoena. On or about March 19th, he engaged, and that was in 2021, he was engaged to represent Ashley Lindsay Morgan Smithline versus Brian Warner in another case, okay? And they had a retainer agreement. Miss Smithline's conduct has rendered it unreasonably difficult for counsel to carry out the representation effectively. Miss Smithline has breached paragraphs 9 and 16 of the retainer agreement. Counsel provided Miss Smithline a reasonable warning after the breach that counsel will withdraw unless Miss Smithline fulfills the terms of the retainer agreement. Miss Smithline knowingly and freely assented to termination of the representation on or about August 19th this year. I provided written notice to Miss Smithline of my intent to file the motion for withdrawal of representation on August 26th. I declare that this is true, of course, under penalty of law, and he submitted this to the court, and it was accepted. So he has notified Esme Bianco's attorneys that he's not going to be involved. So there's not going to be a deposition right now about this until another attorney. It's going to delay that case also. Do you see how this is like snowballing? Like, ba-dum, you know? It's not just her case that she's affecting. It's actually Esme's case also. This actually is going to be looking a little bit better, I think, for Brian Warner, because, you know, we know that other case got folded. Now the case with Ashley Walters was dropped, okay? Dropped and not able to be refiled. And be based on the time frame, based on her not submitting her therapy records or having records or trying to back into that as the reason for the extension instead of properly filing ahead of time that was so, because then it left it open for the judge to determine that, hey, nope, not enough there to do it, not going to allow the extension. Brian wins his dismissal, boom, out, it's dropped. Okay. That one already gone. Okay. There's little movement in the Jane Doe case also right now, but these things take a lot of time. Most of them are not even scheduled to sit for trial until 23, and even late in 23, and one of them even in 24. They, when you get into this legal, we showed you with the civil case, they go in there and they do these case management reports, and they put down the time frames, they put down what's going to happen, they put down their estimated dates for discovery to be finished, depositions to be finished, all the evidence be logged in, then they come up with an approximate date that they're going to look at jury, if it's for a jury trial, and start the trial. And they even put down the approximate dates that they are going to allow for the presentations of the cases. Everything's mapped out ahead of time so that schedules can be done through the legal process, through the, there's more than one case going on. And, Brian's bocking them up enough with this 5 of them going all over the place, That's a lot of scheduling, and you've also got attorneys that have to be in all of them, are involved with all of them. So it's a little mind-boggling. They try to keep to the schedule the best that they can, which is why something like this with Ashley Smithline is going to really derail both those cases a bit. If anything, it's going to cause a delay. If anything, when an attorney leaves, it's automatically going to say that that's a great reason for another delay, to allow time for the new attorney to get up to speed and then start the scheduling again for all of the depositions that have to be done. The subpoena's going to have to be reissued to Ashley based on what the judge does allow on these, and whether or not she actually is going to sit. Now they may decide that she's not a reliable witness and that she could hurt the case, and they may just forget it. And Esme Bianco's case can just move fine ahead without her and just go. And maybe she will not cause any damage if they just decide. That could happen also. So we'll have to wait and look for further we're going to have to wait and look for further actual filings on that. Okay. One of the things that really you're going to like this is one of the things I wanted to show you when I said that King was on it. I'm getting more and more impressed with the legal stylings of King. He's a bit aggressive. Now, King is Warner's attorney for several of the cases. Okay. And when you're getting accused of these kind of crimes, okay, and I'm going to stay a little bit neutral here, although I have been leaning more towards after the filings of King against Esme, not Esme, against Rachel Evan Woods and Illma Gore, when they fired back with the caliber of statements that they did against the actual accusations, and they went boom, 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 point after point, and dismantled it before they even get to trial. They are letting them know your evidence is not going to hold up because, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, remember that, oh yeah, it's almost like they're going, citation needed, like we're going to hang you out if you go down this path any further. And I think that was very cost effective to lay it all out ahead of time. It doesn't have to be done. You can wait to trial to do it and blow up the evidence. Or you can let the other party know, hey, got your number and it's not flying. and you want to look at this a little bit better, that's actually cost effective for both parties. It could save a lot of money. Maybe they'll go into arbitration and work this out. Who knows? But when that happens, okay, and your evidence is just blown apart before you even get anywhere, they're not even in disclosure yet, okay, and that was seriously blown apart. When you are making statements for a witness and a person and you haven't even talked to them and don't even know the truth about that, and I'm talking about the actual groupie actress Paulo, that was a big faux pas. I mean, just that statement alone from her, that affidavit from her, blew that right out of the water. And if they would do that, it makes everything else a little sketch too when you're looking at it. And it gave them the opportunity to look at everything. And they did, piece by piece, blow quite a bit of it up. So hopefully, they'll be there. But these are actresses, got a lot to lose. Don't forget, Evan Rachel Wood is heavily tied into Me Too, heavily tied into some great movements that happened. But I would have to say, just because you did this good thing doesn't mean this one over here don't stink like a rotten barrel of fish. Yeah, I said that. Because it does. The more you read about it, the more you see the evidence, the more you look at Phoenix Rising is not only something coming forward for Me Too and making a testimony, but yeah, perhaps she was a bit angry at somebody and was making a hit piece. And that shouldn't be allowed. That shouldn't be allowed without evidence. Even if he is famous, I don't really think that was for the greater good. Okay, so here, Howard King, the Esquire, 4. They start correspondence back with Jay from Ellwanger Law. Okay, they start with Mr. Ellwanger way back August 25th. We set it for 8 a.m. on Tuesday on the assumption she will be in the UK. If she is here, we can set it for a later time if you prefer. If she is here, we request that she appear in person for her deposition. They're still trying to get her there. Okay. And this is in regard to her deposition for Esme. And then Jay Ellwanger is saying back to Howard King, as we discussed last week, we agreed that in order to seek additional continuances, Ms. Smithline's deposition, I would ultimately need to provide to you a written assessment from Ms. Smithline's psychiatrist that she is unable to participate in litigation due to the current status of her mental health. For reasons which I am ethically required to keep confidential, I cannot provide this written assessment. Accordingly, I am going to have to file a motion to withdraw as counsel for Ms. Smithline. Please let me know if you oppose the motion. And Jay's going to tell him, you haven't given us enough information to evaluate your motion, including whether Ms. Smithline has consented to the withdrawal. Regardless, this issue will not be resolved before Tuesday's deposition, at which Ms. Smithline is required to appear. Because you did not respond to my note on the start time, we will keep it at the notice start time of 8 a.m. Pacific time. Jackson Trugman has also pointed out your failure to produce documents that should have been part of the full production of Smithline's documents responsive to the subpoena that you promised would be produced last week. Howard, you know full well that I ethically can't provide more information to you regarding this motion than I have already provided. Per what evidently seems to be your request, I will tell the court in my motion that you are opposed to my withdrawal. Copying Gene as your position on this issue will also be attributed to him and his firm, and he has a right to know the course of action you are requiring that I take. Howard asks again, will Miss Smithline be here in person for her deposition today, on Tuesday, and will her delinquent document production be implemented today? Okay. And also Jay did say, and yes, Miss Smithline does consent to my withdrawal because she does have his agreement. Okay. Do you see how they're going back and forth? They're so professional, but they're so on it. Like King is not letting them go. King is not. He's like, we're going to use this. We are going to use this. You better dot your I's. You better cross your T's. I'm on this. I see you. Okay. So then Jay responds back to Howard King. As you know, I filed my motion to withdraw as counsel of Miss Smithline on August 27th. I am writing to ask your agreement to take Miss Smithline's deposition in the Bianco versus Warner case off for tomorrow's calendar to allow Ms. Smithline time to secure replacement counsel. If you will not agree to do so, we will need to file a motion for protection on behalf of Ms. Smithline today, since the court has obviously not yet ruled on our motion to withdraw. And that was what we filed before about them wanting to squash that subpoena, want to modify that and mollify and move that subpoena to another time. Okay. Please let us know by 12 o'clock specific whether you will agree to take the deposition off the calendar. I cannot make a specific representation as to when Ms. Smithline could be available to reschedule. In our motion to withdraw, we asked the court for a 90-day extension of current discovery deadlines in Smithline versus Warner et al. And then he says, we will not be taking the delayed position off the calendar. We're going to let her default. Howard, please confirm you oppose the motion for protection we are filing on behalf of Ashley. And here he comes. Howard then responds, what are the grounds? She was supposed to appear 2 weeks ago to her duly subpoenaed deposition, an appearance confirmed on multiple occasions by you. On the day before her appearance, you represented that she had flown to the United States to obtain emergency psychiatric treatment and therefore could not appear. Rather than forcing you to make a motion for protection at the time, we made a professional accommodation to you to continue the deposition date. You promised, nonetheless, immediately complete a full document production, representing that you already had the responsive documents in your possession. Apparently, that representation was not accurate, as the promised production was not made. You also promised written evidence from the treating professionals of Ms. Smithline's medical inability to have attended the deposition. You have failed to provide that documentation. Finally, you promised Ms. Smithline would appear for her deposition tomorrow. You have ignored multiple questions from me seeking confirmation she will appear for her deposition. So yes, we oppose and would ask that this entire email be included as part of your motion, which, as you can see, I'm reading it, it was included. Every word of it was sent along with the motion to the judge. So, J.L. Wanger, back to Howard King. I just filed a motion to withdraw as her lawyer, and you are asking me what grounds are for filing a motion to move the deposition she is scheduled for tomorrow. I'm clear on that, right? Because I absolutely will be including this exchange in our certificate of conference. They're being a little wise ass with him now. He's like, I'm leaving. Like, of course we can't have the deposition. I'm not going to be there to represent her. Like, come on. But he's making him spell it out for the court. He's making it, put it in black and white. He's trying to draw out the reasons because, of course, he's a very good attorney, Howard King. This is what I meant. He is trying to draw it out of the other attorney, what he's going to be able to use about Ashley Smithline Klein in this actual correspondence back and forth here as to why she's being unresponsive in regards to her requirements to appear to the court. Okay. So from J.L. Wanger again to Howard King, from Howard King to J. Elwinger first. You represent two different claimants who have conspired to create a false narrative, which is why the deposition of your client Smithline is so critical in the case brought by your client Bianco. We believe your attempts to avoid Ms. Smithline's deposition are a ploy to preserve Ms. Bianco's false claims. Remember, he's not drawing from Esme Bianco's case. Okay. J. Elwinger to Howard King. Cool theory. Anyway, do you oppose the relief we are seeking? And in red, Howard King responds back, which is the main reason I read all of this to you guys. So, yes, we oppose. Could I have been any clearer in red type? So we oppose and would ask that this entire email be included as part of your motion. End of Exhibit B. Okay. That for okay. I am so sorry that I am so sorry that took so long to read, but That was damn amusing to me. Okay. To watch attorneys go back and forth like that, they have great respect for each other, you can tell. Okay. They don't like the positions they are in with their clients, but Howard King, do you see what I mean by the pushing? Like he really wanted to get as much information as he could out of the other attorney without him violating. And hey Peter, it is so good to see you. I hope you are okay. I do, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Also, Dark Side of the Moon, hello, thank you for joining us. Just Rhonda, it's great to see you. Also, and Liam, it's wonderful to see you too. Oh, and no, I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up with chat as well. I'm going to look right before I get to the last part. What am I laughing at, Spooky? I'm laughing at how professional they were being, but how they were really trying to snark at each other. But they were being very professional about it, and I could pick it up. Like they were like, "Really? Are you asking me that? You know, I can't say that." And the other one's like, "Yeah, well, I'm going to ask anyway. I'm pushing because this is good for my client." You know, and that's why I'm finding that part quite amusing. Yeah. Let me see if I can see. Unreal. Oh boy. Yeah, I see. I know we're talking about the other case, and I'm so happy with some of the movement that's going there. You guys are doing great, and I can't wait to go listen to the last one, actually. And on Daniel also, Rhonda. I do agree. Okay. Mm. This is right, Liam. Not letting him off the hook, which his client has hung him out to dry by. I agree. His client is really causing some damage here. Hey, Rodent, welcome. Yeah. All right. So do you guys have any question on what's going on with Smithline and or how that's going to affect Esme Bianco? And aren't you glad Howard King is also the one suing Evan Rachel Woods and Illma Gore? I think we're going to get a lot of information out of that. You've been doing a damn good job. I don't want to sound too slighted. I really like the legal part of it, and I'm just saying that right now. It looks like Howard King is really maneuvering some great legal strategy here. And oh no, don't apologize, Rhonda, for talking about Daniel in my chat. Are you kidding? Listen, anywhere you could talk about Stephen Avery and Daniel to help put light on what is going on there and the good work that you guys are doing over there in Foul Play and on your own channel to try to bring light to that issue and the wrong that's being done there, and you go right ahead. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, no harm, no foul. Don't apologize to me about that. I support your guys' work 100%. Okay, so yeah, if people want to ask you in my chat, go ahead, promote, because I'm going to do it for you, like I just did. Go check out those channels. Yes, okay. Let me just say, okay. Mrs. Cassandra, Ezra Miller. Yes, Ezra Miller is one of the little tidbits that I have to add for Monday. There's like so many small things that I have to cover. Ezra's not small, but what the update is. Ezra Miller is a hot mess, and there's not enough to do like a whole thing. There was actually enough here on Manson with all of the cases to do like a whole separate, but not so much on Ezra. I'm either going to do him on What the F on Saturday, which is my Can You Believe This kind of show where we talk about YouTube, Twitter, and some things like that. But because it's legal, I may wait until Monday. But thank you. And thank you, Sean. I appreciate your support as always. She says, passion that you and Claire have is great. I assume she's talking to Rhonda and Jack and everybody from over there at Foul Play. Yes, thank you so much for the support, Sean. I do agree. Their passion is fantastic. And I love this stuff. You do. And I do agree always. He is a hot mess. That is a hot mess. Definitely a hot mess. Yep. Definitely. Rhonda, I am going to give you a temporary blue wrench to drop your channel because my potato is not cooperating. So if you would grab your link and put it in the chat and the foul play, I'm perfectly fine with that. So shill away. The wrenches will probably disappear after the day, but I definitely want you to go ahead and do that. Jack, you too. Please put your channel for foul play there if you would be so kind. And I appreciate the assist because my potato is a little mashed today. And I don't want it to do that crazy stuff. So far we have avoided, if I'm looking at the chat properly, we have avoided an acid trip on presentation of documents. So I'm going to actually try the last one. First I have a question from Liam. How does it affect the effectiveness of the suit if the lawyer split from one of the clients? Well, it affects two ways. Actually, could be three ways. The way I look at it, and I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a paralegal. I just love this stuff. I read it constantly. I like to find the little odd things about it. I do check with lawyers and I talk with lawyers all the time, but I'm not going to represent myself as giving any type of legal advice or expertise here at all. But it appears to me that in the Smithline case alone, there's going to be at least a minimal of a 90-day delay. There's already been massive delays. And the actual attorney is alluding to the fact that he does not have the records that are required and already being asked for the court in regards to her mental health issues. That looks a little unreliable. That looks like either they're there or they're not there. Perhaps they're not there because they can't get them from the psychiatrist because she's not able to participate. We don't know. Either way, there looks like massive delays in that case, and maybe even a reason for when they meet the deadlines, because there is also that Brian Warner is entitled to face his accusers on a timely manner based on what the court has laid out. So it does make a little bit of an issue there if there's not a lot of cooperation, if the case is falling apart, if they're not able to meet the deadlines, people aren't returning messages, this kind of thing. It could get derailed, it could get dropped. Okay, we'll see what kind of motions King files. He looks like he's on it. I think you might agree. He looks like he's hot on it, on how this may benefit Brian Warner's case and defense. In the Smithline case, in the Esme Bianco case, it could go either way. If they needed the testimony of Ashley Smithline to actually bolster the accusations of Esme Bianco, yes, they would have shown a pattern. But is that pattern the only thing they had going for them? That's the key right there. You would hope not. You hope that not one source in a legal case is what you're banking everything on. That's risky to begin with. I think we can all agree that's common sense, right? So I'm thinking if she is unable to testify for Esme Bianco, number one, if they want her, we're talking massive delay here, because not only is her case delayed, now Esme's case is delayed. Another 90 days minimal, because Ashley can't give a deposition without legal representation there. She's required to, she is entitled, I shouldn't say required, she is entitled to have somebody there with her. Okay, and you should not give a deposition that's going to be part of a legal trial. It's going to be evidence. It's going to be used by both sides. You don't want to be there without an attorney. You don't want to be anywhere without an attorney when it comes to any kind of suit, civil or criminal. You don't want to be anywhere without an attorney. Okay, 90 days minimal on that delay, and probably more on top of it because they're just getting used to, and they got to deal with Howard King and Brian Warner with the Ashley Smithline case. They're going to have to deal with all of that. There's going to be major delay if they want her. If they don't want her, if they've decided that it's probably prudent based on what's going on and her reliability and actually the type of testimony she had to offer, if they weigh it out and they say it's really not worth it, they could just squash the subpoena, move on, and just carry on with their case, and it's not going to delay them that much. Because he's not at Jay Wallinger, he's not leaving Esme Bianco's case. There's nothing going on over there. Okay? All right. Thank you. Jack, can you drop Rhonda's for her, please? I'm sorry, Rhonda. I didn't want to get you flustered. Thank you. Oh, Peter, I can't wait to talk to you. I'm seeing your little blue name up there, and I'm telling you, I want everybody just to welcome Peter Begg. He's been like It's been a while, and it just does my heart good to even see your name there in blue and to see your little icon. And I'm wearing a big smile. You made my day, dude. Oh, Mandy, welcome. It's nice to see you here. Thank you. Yeah. Let me pull up your questions because I know there's probably some. Let me go back in this chat. And then I have something else, you know. Ah. Okay. Did you read all of why the attorney is stepping down already? Yes, I did. It has to do with the retainer agreement. It has to do with not being able to produce the documents that are required for him to do his job that he had promised to everybody. Yes, I read the whole thing. I read his whole part out. And if you need it, Mandy, I have it and I will send it to you. You know where I am, boo. I will give you a link to all of those documents if you need them. I can go put them in the Manson room after for you. Okay, but yeah, we went over it. Mostly regards to the retainer. It looks like part of the retainer agreement about the things that she would do about keeping on time, it could have to do with money because he did cite actual cases that had to do with unpaid retainer fees and things like that. But it also is mentioned about not being back and forth. I also read back and forth the emails from Howard King and Jay Elwanger that the way they were going back and forth, it had more to do also with whether or not she was well enough to actually participate right now in a deposition and well enough if those psychiatric records are going to be made available. They had been promised for weeks. Howard King made a bit of a push on that, hey, you've been saying this for weeks. This isn't just today, blah, 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 blah. You've been, not coming forth with produced documents that you said were available. Okay. So, that was, yep. And yeah, she was supposed to depose a while back and they keep making excuses. This is several times, absolutely several times. And that's why Howard King was pushing so hard. And he mentioned that in the emails. He also requested, Mandy, how lovely is this? He said, would you please put all of our correspondence in your motion to the judge to be dismissed? Like, put it all there. Like, put this all there. I want him to know what's going on. And why, this may just be you guys making another delay. Okay. Yep. And Mandy also says, oh, her mental health problems is she's sitting on a throne of life. Mandy, I'm not going to go there. I'm trying to keep like a little bias, but yes, it does agree that maybe things are falling apart a little bit. And yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say if what she's gone through has caused that or just this pressure, but I would say that anybody that has a case against Brian Warner right now and saw what Howard King did to Evan Rachel Woods and Illma Gore's actual evidence that they put forward in accusations, I would be a little concerned if I was actually involved with Evan Rachel Woods at this point and had those conversations and, you're going to get tied in. There's a lot of pressure there. So you might be right. If she was feeling a certain way already, it could have added undue pressure. But that's all speculation, and that's not legal. Okay, that's just all speculation. It's fun to talk about it, but I can't really say. If anybody said citation needed, I'd say, I don't know, it was speculation. It's just opinion. I think the pressure could be a problem here. I do. Especially based on the affidavits that came forward in the Woods case, in Brian's filing on the Woods and Gore case. Howard King did a bang up job. Oh, I'll give you a hint, just Rhonda. Okay, and this is for everybody. When you go to find your YouTube link, okay, what you do is if you open up a tab and put your page up there, click on it. Up there in the browser, copy that. That's your YouTube link. It's that easy. Really. You can also find it in your customization page. But just Rhonda, anytime you want, I will walk you through some YouTube stuff through a stream replic if you'd like. I don't have any problem helping people out with the small channels. As I learn, I want to show everybody else, but I'm no expert. I do have little tricks. Thank you, Jax. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And have a good stream. Okay? Thanks. And I'm glad. And there's the Discord. Great job, Jax. Thank you. That made it easier for me. Okay. Yep, it's gonna be really Mrs. Cassandra, thank you. Yes, I think Monday's show is gonna be great. But I got one more thing to show you guys for the last 10 minutes. Well, oh, and welcome, Charlie. You snuck in here, but I just saw you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You're welcome, just Rhonda. Don't be upset when I take your blues away, guys. But I have so many, and if manager sees all these blues, he's going to have them my butt. Okay. But thank you for helping me temporarily get that. Okay. I appreciate it. Okay. Anyway, I've got one more thing. If Potato cooperates, we're going to show you something I found fascinating about this case from the start. And this is one of the things that I was actually behind, and it doesn't have anything to do with whether Brian Warner is guilty or not. That's not what I'm going to be talking about here. What I'm going to talk about is statute of limitations in sexual abuse and sexual assault cases, and how anything that's traumatizing like this, and I'm talking about even like massive assault cases where people get beat like unbelievably, violated, whatever, puts them in a mental state or in a state where they can't deal with it. I do believe the statute of limitations should have some leniency for certain type of cases for things that happen. Okay. Now, all kinds of things could happen. You could have been in a coma for 3 years before, and then wake up, and then you've got to get your memory back. You got to work through it. You got to decide if it's real. It could take 5, 6, 7 years before you actually want to press charges for the assault. Okay. I think if you are actually involved in the recovery process of what actually happened, in the ability to deal with it, that as long as you're in some kind of active process to do that, there should be an extension granted to you. And there's been recent movement, California, especially where these lawsuits are coming out of, and I'm only using Warner as an example. This is not about his guilt or his innocence. This is just about the statute of limitations. Okay. The way the law was, he did get one of those cases tossed based on the statute of limitations because Ashley Walters only used it as an excuse after the fact. She didn't actually concur that this is what happened. And to the state that she stated that she was effective to the judge chose to say, I'm sorry, that doesn't actually pertain because that's not what we're talking about here. That just doesn't work. You don't have any backup for it. There's not, sorry, it's not going to be granted. It's tossed with prejudice. You cannot even refile because of the statute of limitations. Boom, done. Not going to be heard from again with Ashley Walters' case. Okay. Now, they have to look at it case by case. I agree. You can't just make a blanket. Okay. But you can make it easier. And recently, there's been the AB 277 Wicks Sexual Abuse and Cover Up Accountability Act, which actually is amending some of this stuff to make it a little easier. It's an act to amend section 340.16 of the Code of the Civil Procedure relating to civil actions, which is the one we're talking about, statute of limitations for this type of abuse. Summary: the bill would, until December 31st of 2026, revive claims seeking to recover damages suffered as a result of a sexual assault that occurred on or after January 1st of 2009. That would otherwise be barred solely because the statute of limitations has or had expired. It looks like when the bill was first written, they considered expanding it to include all sexual offenses, but this was knocked back. So they're adding this little thing to do what the original bill wanted to do, which in that original bill, there are extensions and exclusions which are being used. In the Masterson case, which is also in California, the Masterson Scientology case, and the women that came forward out of there, they are also using it, and they're using it here in Manson's case. All right, the AB 1510 is the Reyes bill for sexual assault and misconduct, which expands the statute of limitations to 10 years for acts committed during 2019 and onwards. 3-year discovery rule. AB 1510 Reyes was signed into law the same week in October 2019 as the SB 273 Rubio PhoenixAct for domestic violence, expands the statute of limitations for domestic violence to 5 years under certain conditions, okay, because it was previously, I think, 2 or 3. And for all of you that would actually Let me just clear this before the potato goes clear. I hope the potato stayed clear for that. I'm going to give you links for these documents that you can go look at the bills yourself. I'm going to link them below also. But it's valuable, if you follow this stuff, some of you the way that I do, and you want to actually look further into how it can be applied to some of the cases that are already dismissed. I'm wondering how it's going to apply in the Manson situation. I am wondering how it's going to apply in the Masterson situation. I'm going to wonder how it also is going to apply to Ashley Waters that got tossed. I wonder, because it does say prior cases. Yeah. So curious. And on that, let me see if we have some more. If I were ever Evan Rachel Woods, I'd go ahead and push Illma under the bus right now. Mandy, not gonna lie, that is a very popular sentiment too. A lot of people I talk to about this case that Illma did not do. Illma Gore did Evan Rachel Woods no favors at all. Okay, no favors at all. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, so here we go. I know you have mixed feelings. Me too. And thank you, Liam. We're gonna encourage the potato the best that we can. I did a little bit of it. We got to keep it going until we get everything set up. But thank. What is this potato I speak of? It is okay. Hold on to your shorts, people. The channel Clairview is run by a potato that is a Chromebook, and it has been for the last year and a half. All I use is a Chromebook. I do everything in the cloud. There's no access to set anything up, really detailed. I use a lot of different configurations. I use everything up in the cloud, about kind of software and everything that's just up there in the sky. No, nothing downloaded here. It is an itty bitty little laptop with not a lot of bells or whistles. Pretty system, and it has been a very good potato. It's been a loaded potato, I would say. It's been a very good potato. We could give it a little bit of props, but it has been quite a while, and I think it has. I've done things to it was not expecting, probably things it wasn't really prepared to handle, and it's fighting back a little bit, and we are going to be upgrading. Yeah, it's almost baked, Mrs. Always careful. It is almost baked. It is on its way out. But the good news is that we are in the process of actually upgrading it and getting things taken care of and working on other solutions. Occasionally, it's also the internet, because I am not able to Ethernet in and hardwire like you can a desktop or even other Windows-based laptops. A Chromebook does not give you access to an internet. You have to use Wi-Fi. You got to connect with Bluetooth. It's meant to be portable and easy, and doesn't give you any of those bells and whistles like that. So if there's anything going on in the area, storms, whatever, sometimes my internet is not that great. But today it cooperated, and we are very happy about the potato conditions today. And on that, I think I filled the hour. If there's no more questions, you know what, just Rhonda, I'm going to pull these up because I did too. You really enjoyed the back and forth banter with the attorneys. I did too, and thank you for letting me know. I was iffy about putting that out there with you guys, but because they made it part of the legal document, I mean, why not? But for me, it was it kind of shows you their styles. It kind of showed you where Howard King is not somebody to mess around with. He's pushing for his client. Like, he really believes in his innocence, and he's going to do what he can to prove it. So there. All right. So on that, I will see you all. We've got an AIT tomorrow. Okay, going on with Cypher Zero, who's also the bio boosted squirrel, the boo boosted squirrel. He's funny. If you remember over at Ranties, I've had some interactions with him on the stream. He's a great, funny guy. We're going to be doing AIT tomorrow night. Then we will be doing the Starsky stream over at the Shills on Friday. Okay, and Saturday we will be doing a What the F based on things that go on YouTube, Twitter, all the weird, wild, crazy stuff you just can't believe is actually came out of people's mouths, or they're actually taken seriously. We'll be having a little bit of a go with a few people on that. We may even on Monday have another political stream at 1 o'clock. There's been some drops and some answers in the Trump case. Yeah, that's legal now. So now I get like a little bit of Trump and a little bit of legal and a little bit of, oh my God, which may come out on Monday. Sunday, rather, not Monday, Sunday in the afternoon. Sunday later that evening, of course, I'm over there with Amy Hogan at the Uncalled For. I'm really liking doing some more serious content with Amy Hogan over there, and it's really good. So if you can catch us later, I will put the link on the back of my community tab. But that's the binge for the week. And on that, I'm going to make everybody a little proud that's been pushing me and do the YouTube things. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the video. And if you haven't subscribed, or you know someone that may be interested in any of the different kind of smash up type commentary that I do here, give them a link, tell them it might be worth a little bit of a sub here and there. Remember, if you want to get into the Discord, you need to be a member of the channel and or of the Patreon, and or be a panel guest or a contributor to one of the conversations here on my channel. We talk about a lot of stuff. We've got library chats for more serious things on psychology, mental health, philosophy, education, SCOTUS, anywhere you really want to go. A library chat is a one-on-one conversation on a bigger topic, usually about an hour. If you're interested, hit me up. We also have AIT, which is very, very funny. It's a way to talk about a topic and give your opinion and have a little bit of go on whether somebody's an asshole or not. That's the Am I the Asshole reading of the Reddit threads. We also, there's plenty of things that we can talk about. That's just a few. So, hey, that's another way to get into the Discord, because creative collaborators also get invited into the Discord. And there you go. And that's where we all help each other out, Just Rhonda, we should talk, do something together, get you in there, and we can talk about StreamYards. We can get you straightened up, going around all of the stuff with YouTube, things like that. On anything else, please just like it, share it, comment, get it out into the algorithm a bit. If you like the content, share it with somebody. I try to keep everything in a playlist. On that, I think I did my YouTube thing. I think everybody will just give me a pass on that one for now. I hate to do that. I really do. Hey, Wrecker, thank you for being here. And Leanne, you were here. Oh, cool. I didn't see you earlier, but thank you for being here. All right, on that, I'm going to head out. It's just over an hour. Y'all be well. I'll see you tomorrow if you're around for Am I the Asshole? And here comes our thank you. Be well, guys.